It's time for Measure Twice.
Welcome to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and we're listening to each other, I guess, on 95.3 FNC. Actually, we're not listening to you guys. You're listening to us. No, so the power of the mic is right here.
Yep.
We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything, windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors. Miss Shannon's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. It's, this is going to be a great show. But next week, we're going to cover the cost versus value like we do every year. It's out. So if you want to do your research, Joel, tell them where the website is.
Remodeling.com.
Remodeling.com. We're going to go over that. And you can find out next week, what your best bang for your buck is.
Yeah.
And even if you don't need it, just do it.
Bang for buck, and it also pretty good at being right around the general cost of what these different types of remodels are.
Right. And it's regional, so it won't be it's not, if you go there, you can pick national numbers,
right,
but you can also get into your region pretty close to our region. They don't list city by city generally. But
you can.
You can, but I don't think ours was in there.
Yeah, South Bend.
Okay.
Fort Wayne.
So you can get super hyper local, and we will. We're going to go, we might even take a couple shows and go through that because it's just really pretty informative. So that's coming up next week. This week, though, let's just say, how do I put this? How do I want to start this? I want to say, without offending somebody who might be in a house that's like this, but what if?
No offense. That's the best way to start something,
as soon as you say no offense, you know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm about to offend you. That's the signal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever say no offense if you would also say this to your grandma. This is not, this is. So I've just noticed recently some really strangely shaped houses. And I saw one, Epcot. You know what? If I said Epcot to you, Chris, do you know what I mean by
Epcot in Florida?
What's their signature? What's that? You remember that building that's like their signature building?
It's the round geodesic dome type thing.
Yes.
Sphere. It's a sphere. Yeah.
I just saw a house that was exactly
Was it a geodesic dome?
Yes.
It's like the mini version.
Yeah.
But still enormous, I thought. Big.
They're so 70s.
Is it 70s?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a 70s thing? That was my first question, is when?
Early 70s. Maybe even late 60s. They've been around a while.
So this house that I saw was probably built 70s, 60s, 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a little bit of research on them just because I was like, oh my goodness. Who, what, why? Do you know what the average cost to put windows in one of those houses is? Average.
Very little, because you don't put many in there.
That's not true. They actually have way more windows than the normal house.
Really?
It's north of $100,000 in windows.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of them are normal windows, and only 20% of the windows can open. So if you have, 25 windows, 2 might open because the rest can't.
Yeah.
And you're saying this yeah. That's pretty nuts. That is very, if you break one of those windows, you can't just go buy one.
You call the glass doctor.
You would have to call the glass doctor. Not a sponsor, by the way.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Remember, they fix your pains.
That's right. Call the glass doctor. I can't do that. We're not getting paid for that.
I know, but I was just... That just popped in my head. I don't know.
Can't give the milk up for free
if
here.
you break the glass, you don't have to... You can just replace the glass. You don't have to replace the whole frame.
That's true. That's true, especially in those. But now that I know that they were probably built in the 70s, they're probably not great windows anyway. You'd probably want to
Can you imagine replacing the roof?
Well, it's all
It's all
roof.
roof.
Yeah.
That's my
That was my
point.
next thing. It's all roof, and then they don't recommend anything but like shake, like you don't put tar roof. You don't do the tar
And
shingle
because of the way the roof is shaped. It's not a smooth sphere
at
It's
all.
All the angles.
It's very. It's not really a sphere at all, right?
no.
It's angular. Like you said.
Yeah.
So
They
you
were
have,
kind of a thing. They haven't been a thing for a long time.
but once you have one,
You've got one.
got it, and you better like it because
Your kids' punishment in the house is once they can go outside or play their video games once they've gotten something put in the corner.
Yeah, I knew that you. No, the good news is nobody can put baby in a corner there.
Yeah.
Aren't they supposed to be more energy efficient, though?
Yeah,
They're
so
supposed to be. I don't understand how that operates, but
Well, isn't it kind of like an yurt? Where because you don't have any, the outside wind goes around it. It doesn't get stuck in corners, so it's supposed to be more energy efficient.
yeah. There's no leeward wall, so there's no one place that wind robs the house of its temperature. Right? It's like no matter where the wind goes, and then for the sun hits more of the house. There's more surface area for solar or radiant.
That's
well,
why
that's
there's
great when it's cold.
That's why there's so many windows.
What
Right.
about when it's hot?
But when it's hot, it has the same effect. The effect is very similar because you're now you're. Well, I'm trying to look that up because I thought the same thing. Basically, the house is more efficient because of the way a sphere or that shape operates in the environment is more efficient than a rectangle.
Correct.
It's also technically sturdy because of the way that it's supported. And it's because I thought like, well, if you put one hole in that thing, it's going to deflate.
No.
Like it's just not going to.
No.
But there are direct advantages to it. I think one. I'm trying to find the pullage, which I should have done before I started. What do you think? But the octagonal house is what it's called. House.
It's more than an octagon.
Yeah. If octagon has angles. I thought they were completely round.
Well, they're not really
close.
round.
We're close, yeah.
There's.
I've never been in one. I've only driven past. And
If you
seen
can
them from
imagine
the
a
outside.
pineapple.
Yeah.
Okay, make a pineapple kind of round. Like
Yeah.
it has like sections.
That's where it came from.
He said that with
That's
such
the
authority.
inspiration there.
Somebody cut a pineapple once and said, "Hey, we can build a house like this."
It's like the design of the house, right, makes it so that it maximizes the environment and maximizes the structure of a sphere, which is pretty strong.
You definitely don't see them in subdivisions.
No.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the positives to one of those homes. It is kind of cool. It's kind of neat.
I mean, there'll be a landmark.
People will use your house to give directions. They'll be like, you're going to go to that house you wouldn't live in. And no, just kidding. That's not.
What do they look like on the inside? I wonder how the rooms are partitioned.
So when I'm trying to find the floor plan on here, and during the break, I will find the website so I can show you. But inside, there are both traditional rooms and rooms that are shaped like the outside. Because that was the question that I had. It's like, well, if you put a bunch of squares inside a circle, you're losing all your square footage.
Yeah.
And that's not at all how they do it. Some of the rooms, though, are strange.
So it'd almost have to be.
Yeah. If you the cutout that I saw, if you could imagine, if you took a circle and then put rectangles in the circle and just curved the edges around the outside, they're kind of like built around the outside, and in the center is your
Like main living area.
yeah. And your machine room, like your heating, air conditioning, water, and all that, is generally like an outpost that's not part of the house. It's like
An outbuilding
below the building. Yeah.
below the building.
And most of them now, because they're still in operation, there's thriving companies that are building these.
They're still building them?
Still building them.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you can imagine a ball on a tee
Oh, yeah.
is really the shape now. Like, so there's
So it's,
Yeah, I've seen
Is
that.
it on it's on a pedestal?
no, but there's a building around the bottom. So you might have like a ranch style home on the bottom, and then the
Dome sits on top.
yeah, and it's looks a little bit more traditional, but not.
There's no way
No.
that could look traditional.
But like if you were just see the bottom part of the house, you would think you're just going to any house.
Does it look like somebody added this onto a house?
No, because generally the front is kind of like blended.
Because every time I think of a geodesic dome, I think of cedar shake. They're all brown.
Well, that's the one.
Yep.
That's
They're all
that's what
very
started all this.
They're all very natural looking.
Right.
They're usually on a plot of land off to their own little self.
Yep.
Yeah, like, yeah, they make. I just found the website, but we'll talk about that when we come back. But yeah, they're generally standalone, and now there's two kinds. One that they place it like on a ranch style house, so there's like a normal kind of entryway, and they blend it, and then
I'm
there's some
intrigued.
that are built on like a deck. So the bottom is like it's like supported, and the bottom, which is kind of cool, is like a deck. When we come back, we'll go into more detail in that. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors. Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You could visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about geodesic homes, which, if you're not familiar with that, it is basically a home that is built as a sphere, but not like a balloon, not like that, but like if you could think about triangles or what would you say, squares?
It's a bunch of triangles put together.
Yeah, like a bunch of triangles connected. And they were popular in the 60s and 70s, as popular as a strange house could be, I suppose. But
Well, I think they were considered kind of a new engineering.
right, super sturdy house.
Sturdy.
And they really are. If you look at the specs on them, they can withstand a lot. I don't know about if anything can withstand a direct tornado hit, but
No, that wouldn't.
right. But, as far as like earth shifting, just the things that normally wear out a house,
Still going to wear out a house.
I would think, but their claim is that it holds up a little bit better. Environmentally, it is the shape of the environment. That was another thing that I saw.
Is it
that
really?
that nature, yeah.
They stick out like a sore thumb, though.
What is they do
you
if you're in
see
a
'em.
neighborhood?
I mean, but you see it like I know the one you're talking about,
Right.
and
That one sticks out.
it's just there, and it doesn't look like the environment.
What they're saying is that the environment welcomes a sphere more than it welcomes a rectangle
Because of the shape of the earth?
because of the natural shape of things. So that's what they're
And
where they're
here
going
the
with that.
Eskimos were ahead of us all this
Yes,
time.
those
So-
igloos.
Igloos.
Don't get me started on igloos. They're remarkable.
Hence the geodesic dome.
Well, I guess, yeah, somewhat. It is like a wood igloo, but they do offer some advantages. The advantages are that it tends to be sturdy. It tends to use use nature to its advantage. There's some disadvantages too, like break a window. Like your whole house is a roof. The entire house
Yeah.
is a roof.
Yeah.
So you have entire house roofing costs.
It-
Well, especially with like the material that you're using.
well, that one's shake.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen one that isn't stone or shake or all glass.
But
Or some of those are like some sort of canvas.
That's like aren't they the temp?
those are the tent
temporary
ones.
They're
I
temporary.
mean, there's a manufacturer that sells them as homes.
Some yurts are that way.
Yeah, some
built that made that way.
out of canvas, and then you want to break in. All you need some scissors
Yep.
Or a knife.
or a knife. I don't love
Exacto.
that. Yeah, I don't think that's cool. But when we were talking before we got off the air for last segment, I was trying to explain to you the modern version, and I showed Chris a picture where it doesn't look like it's just set up on a T. Like
Right.
It's
They put a little bit more architecture to it.
yeah. No matter what, though, if you like one in particular had a barn attached to it, it still does look like things are attached to it. It's not like it's congruent.
Well, the one you showed with the deck around it, where they built the sidewalls up.
Yes.
And it was basically the roof. I think that was a shingled roof, I believe.
Yep.
It wasn't shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What is that?
We're looking at the picture.
Oh, that's shake. That's shingles. That's asphalt. Looks like
Yeah.
asphalt.
Was that asphalt
Yeah,
on
that's
there?
asphalt.
You found one with an asphalt roof?
It's the one that you had shown us.
I thought
the
that
one
was
with the
shake.
deck? No, it's
That's
asphalt. So it'd be more economical than shake, but
Right.
still would not be an inexpensive roof to put on.
But it didn't take anything but a simple search online to find 4 or 5 manufacturers that still exist. Now, to different levels. Many of them are more temporary structure, like, that you would
yeah.
put up and then, it's probably not going to last a long time. But there were 3 or 4 that were
I mean,
clearly...
the one that we were just looking at is a kit.
Is it?
Yeah, it says it's a dome house kit.
and you could put that up
In a weekend. If you're a DIYer.
But if you have that, and then looking at interiors, it runs the gamut for interiors, Chris. Like it has spectacular, like the one I showed you that was all wood. That was just
Yeah, that was kinda
magnificent.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And-
cool, man. That would be expensive.
Oh man, and it's really a 1-bedroom. Did you notice that? It was just one.
No, I was looking at the roof, the ceiling. I was
the ceiling was
intrigued
pretty-
with the ceiling.
It's pretty neat. It was cool. It was a lot of woodwork, and that's probably an extreme one, But it was, if you think about the square footage, the home was completely one space
Right.
with a loft bedroom with a bathroom up there, and that was pretty much it. It was all living area other than that one bedroom. But I have found very easily those with 3 to 5 bedrooms, and they basically, the bedrooms might have a curve to their ceiling, and then all the hardware stuff is kind of in the center of the place, and then the living area, generally they cut the dome, like what I've seen, they cut the ball or the sphere in half, and the front half is all open, but they use the back as like
Private quarters.
Private
The private areas.
and so you could see that when you're just in a neighborhood, how that doesn't, I don't know that works, because it's designed to see the world, that's outside.
Yeah, I have never seen one in a neighborhood. Honestly, I've seen them on a parcel of land, typically wooded.
Yeah, like
There's one on the south side of South Bend.
is there really?
Yes.
That's not in a neighborhood?
No, it's off of 23 and Olive.
You're
area.
doxing somebody.
Yeah.
No, because you see it when you drive by. It's been a long time. It's been years since I've driven by and seen it. But there's one there.
Is it enormous? Is it big?
No, not necessarily. But it's not in a neighborhood per se.
It's still on its own plot.
its own plot of land.
Yeah.
It's in the summer you can't see it because the trees are in.
because they camouflage it. But the whole house ghillie suit. It's
But
Yeah.
it's always intriguing to me that it's like, what does it look like on the inside? How do they map out their living spaces?
well, clearly, if you're in a room that is designed inside the thing and walled off, it looks like every other room. Clearly, by the examples I'm looking at.
Do
But
they have epoxy floors?
They should.
and that's how Joel got his naked sphere.
Yeah, that's right.
It's no longer a room. One of like these rooms.
I could say something, but I'm not.
Here's the. Moving along.
I didn't say anything.
I love house.com, right? Because I put that in, and House is like, oh, we've got octagon, hexagonal, whatever.
Yeah.
The houses here, whatever. And
Getting ideas.
and then they show you the thing. There's always the thing that they have in there that has to be CGI. It's not. Somebody built this. But if you look, I'm holding up, and it's a bathroom.
Is that open to the above?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I don't get it.
So somebody, is that a loft bedroom upstairs?
So if you look, you could see the roof. So what we have here is Hal's showing me an example of a shower that if you can imagine, the dome of the hexagonal house is above it, and it's open. So at the very least, they could hear you shower.
Well, or look down.
Well, yeah, if there's somebody up there. Check out that light, though. That's a really cool light.
I like the shower, too. But anyway.
You see the light, though? It's like a ribbon, LED ribbon. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's kind of not what I would think in a bathroom.
It's also a sphere.
It is a sphere.
How clever.
But it just dawned on, it's a little on the nose, don't you think? It's a sphere filled with rectangles, filled with triangles. We call this the Four Doobie room. Where was I going now? I lost my track. Okay, so I think, though, if you're going to do stuff in this shape of a home, you're going to have some open stuff. Like, you're not going to be able to always wall the ceiling off and all the
Or put a second floor in it.
Well, we saw them with second floors. They cut it in half, and it had it.
It kind of looks like that would be kind of like your master.
This picture, the bathroom's magnet. I think that's a cool looking shower.
Yeah. It's just weird that it's all open above it.
Yeah, like somebody could be up on
like
this. Somebody could look down at you.
Yeah, it does. It's
hello,
like,
can you hand me the soap? I forgot a towel.
You toss that up to me there. It's like, but you can
throw a roll of toilet paper over the wall.
We do say that you can do whatever you want in wherever space, so long as you can pay for it. If you have
just not everything's recommended,
right? And we're kind of beating up a specific kind of house, but when we come back from break, this isn't the only kind of weird. I don't say weird. It makes it sound bad. Now that I've looked at these, though, I'm not totally against them.
It's just very unique.
It's just
they're unique.
You know,
they're not the norm.
If I had a chalet in the mountains, this would be on the table.
The nice thing about it too is the shape. There's no snow buildup because it would just fall off.
No gutters.
No gutters.
You just. Where would I be if I couldn't be in the gutter? So
I think it'd be really cool to build one as a complete sphere.
That would be cool. When we come back, we can explore that. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply, everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You could visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about geodesic homes, which is basically a round home. It's like a ball, if you think about it, a sphere made out of a bunch of triangles. But really, we're talking about like the odd-shaped house. And Joel, you had mentioned something off air, A-frame.
Yeah.
But describe what you're thinking with an A-frame, because I know I'm thinking.
Like an actual traditional A-frame it's basically roof. It's a triangle.
Right.
Shaped like an A.
Yeah.
Like an A, the whole
goes
place.
up from the ground and
to a very sharp
pitch.
peak. Yep, all pitch.
How close is the bottom of the roof to the ground?
It's
it's on the ground.
More or less, yeah. It's not like it's up on a wall. I mean, some of them will be up on like what you would consider like a knee wall, just to bring so that for headroom purposes.
Just to keep the roof from touching the ground?
No.
Type thing? Or it does touch the ground, or it can?
Yeah.
And that's good for what? Joel's like, well, nothing. No.
I mean, I've never built one, but I would assume that it would be less expensive to build.
Right. No snow. You don't have to worry about snow.
You're not going to get snow buildup on the roof. And yeah.
No, and more exposure. I would think in today's like solar age, you might see a little bit more A-frame type stuff.
No, that's cool.
That is cool.
Is that an A-frame?
See, and a lot of times A-frames are
look at that same thing.
Similar to the geodesic in that you see a lot of them in the woods. They have in my opinion, they blend in better with the
environment
than a geodesic dome.
I mean, some of them are really cool.
Yeah. So
to me, they have more of an interest on the exterior.
Very alpine looking to me.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Yeah, very European-ish chalet, modernized chalet.
You get that dramatic front window type. Nobody ever shows you the back of one. What's on the back? More windows?
Probably.
That would be kind of neat. Same kind of concept. Probably everything runs up the middle of the A-frame. All the like the bedroom / kitchen / Are they? I also. How big would it have to be to have a second floor? It would have to be enormous.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's one not far from our shop, like less than a mile away. That it can't be more than like 1,800 square feet, 2,000 square feet, and it's 2-story.
There's an A-frame probably a mile from my house. I mean, I drive by it every day, and it is unique, and it's in a little neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like normal houses and then that house, but she does a really good job. Like, it's really cool looking. It's big. No,
that's interesting.
Isn't that?
What's that? The
modern A-frame that is done.
Whoa. Yeah, that looks big.
Very modern.
That's cool.
So I feel like the general consensus in the room is you like A-frames more than the sphere.
The sphere, I personally do.
Oh, yeah.
And is it because our eyes just trained to like identify that as like that's what we live in?
They feel like there's a little bit more opportunity for architectural interest than just what do you do with a sphere? There's only so many ways you can do a sphere.
You have to add to a sphere. You have to put a deck around it. You
could put,
do stuff to it. You have to doll it up. Whereas
I think you could take a sphere and do some interesting things with it, but it's somewhat limiting.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to do? Let's add on. Boom. Boom. Look, there's Mickey Mouse.
I was just thinking the same thing. It is just Epcot. It's just Epcot at that point. But in the mountains, that would be cool. But the A-frame is really what you traditionally think of when you think of like Alpine Chalet. Mm-hmm. Even the hotels. I'm thinking the hotel in the Grand Canyon. If you ever go to the Grand Canyon, is a enormous A-frame hotel. It's just enormous, the size of an airplane hangar. But it's an A-frame because if you're right, it probably just fits in better, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think the advantage of the A-frame is the amount of glass you can put to the front, so it captures a view.
Right.
I think they're great for.
Oh yeah,
because usually the one side is all window,
and it'd be way easier to add on to that.
Yes. Yeah.
Just another A-frame off the side.
Yeah.
Do they? And it's like here's what I'm seeing is there's not a whole lot of windows other than those two sides though.
There's a few on here that put the windows on the angular
Did they
side.
gable them or would I put a?
Nope, they just follow the shape of the A or the slant of the roof.
Right.
So they're more like skylights.
Mm-hmm.
Just slanted skylights. You're going to have to like adjust what we think is normal if you have an A-frame house. Like, I mean, you're not going to have normal windows. Like, they're going to be different.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're
a lot of trapezoids.
A dome.
A lot of trapezoids.
Whether it's the sphere or an A-frame, it's not the typical floor plan that you're used to in a traditional style home.
Yeah.
So you have to be open to adapting to that interior.
Have you ever had to decorate one?
Mm-mm.
No? Mm-mm. Because that would be a challenge.
There really aren't that many around, to be honest.
I mean, at this point, I'm like really wanting to build one. As we talk about it. Okay. I'm going to buy a little plot of land on a lake.
Just throw one up there.
Building a building an A-frame, and Chris is decorating.
There's
it.
tiny house A-frames too.
See,
I was
wouldn't-
noticing.
How tiny? I mean, that would be extra
you
tiny.
lose tons of space.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine your loft?
It would be like sleeping in a coffin.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to be like right
your
up against
pitch
that
is so
thing.
unless you're doing is it a long A or a short A?
Yeah.
It's a capital A.
It's obtuse.
What a capital A A-frame house. Yeah, you would have even in a tiny A-frame. You'd be like feeling your own breath against your, when you
As you
sleep.
go to a second floor, you're losing
Yeah.
a lot of space because of the shape of the pitch.
So you do. I'm assuming you'd see a lot of lofty.
I would think.
Now, in the alpine sense, like if you're building a big one, you can just have part of your house as an A-frame, right?
Yeah.
And then build out from
Yeah, you
that.
can have the like wings coming out.
Yeah.
But a rectangular.
Right. So just
addition.
part, like, whereas the hexagonal or whatever house, the sphere type house,
You could do the same thing.
You could, but man,
well,
the cost and then like tying into that.
But like the one that we were looking at that had the sidewalls and then
Yeah.
basically the roof, you could build off to the side of that very easily.
right. Right. And make it just a feature.
And make the dome the center of the structure.
Right. And then that's just interesting. I'm not trying to mess with people's tastes, like it's cool.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that there hasn't been somebody that's like, yep, we're building this house, and you build it, and then they step back and they're like, what have I done? You've got it now.
Yep.
And you might be the only one that likes it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it before. I'm sure we've talked about it before, but like, if you build at a certain level, like as far as price point, you're basically just building for yourself.
Right.
Even if you end up selling it, I mean, it's going to be difficult to sell that because anybody that would buy that would just build their own.
Right. Unless you had a plot of land that was specific, that had a specific view.
Right, yeah. But it's the same. I think it's basically the same idea.
Right.
It takes a specific buyer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't see more A-frames on like a Diamond Lake or like out one of those lake places. It's not a lake look, is it?
Oh, I
Chris
think
is
it'd be
like,
awesome.
what?
Could be.
I think it'd be awesome.
I think it'd be beautiful on a
like
lake.
all deck, right?
Yeah,
right
because-
out over to the water.
Yes, exactly. And then you can have your boathouse.
Yeah.
You know how they have the boat. I don't know what to call it, but
Be a B frame.
I built a.
We did a B frame.
I got a W frame. You pick the letter of the alphabet.
And we'll build it.
And we'll build it. We'll just whatever you want.
You ever know like the Kohler commercial with the faucet design around this? Here,
Oh yeah, right.
here's a W.
Yeah.
But you know how they have some of those houses on the lakes where, they drive the boat kind of under the house, or
Yep.
it would be.
I have
kinda
one of
neat.
those.
Would you
Kidding.
I don't see Chris the yachtsman.
No, I know.
I think we would pay
An
good
old
money.
Chris Craft.
Wouldn't you pay good money to see Chris in like a skipper's hat though? Like
Yes, I would.
And like a navy blue blazer with
Yes.
a yellow
With the
ascot
ascot. Yep.
and like a little skipper's hat
The
on.
white pants.
What did you say?
The white
The white
pants.
slacks.
White pants, right? And docksiders
Yeah.
with no socks. I could picture that.
I already have it in my mind's eye.
That,
I've
but
already got
my
it there.
Chris is not wearing a shirt under his blazer.
Oh.
He just has the ascot covering it.
and a pipe. And a pipe.
Pipe, yes, definitely a pipe.
Oh man, that is so not me.
All right, when we come back, we got one more different house to talk about when we come back. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. And you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about, well, the houses that stand out. A-frame houses, which is exactly what it sounds like. Not to be confused with U houses and Y houses,
Yeah.
which are different. There is something, though, that I have seen that was strange. And we always talk about you can do it with whatever you want so long as you're willing to own it for a while.
Yeah.
And you like it. And I've seen a castle.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple.
Yeah?
South Bend.
I haven't seen any in South Bend, but I've seen one in Elkhart County.
Yep, there's
Like like this had turrets.
yeah, and a moat.
Oh, I don't know if there was a moat.
There was one in front.
Was there?
There's one on south side of South Bend in Chippewa.
And it's not an attraction. Somebody lives there.
I think I thought it was used as an Airbnb, but yeah, it was built as a home.
Purpose built as a home.
Man. I don't get it.
Drawbridge, moat, turrets. I thought they were.
Now, if you're going to do that, you make the whole thing a castle, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't just do the
Slap it on the
front,
front.
right?
Well, it's hard to see it because it's in a very wooded area, but from the street, let's see if I can.
But let's say you were going to build a castle, Chris. Would you make the whole thing a castle, or would you just say, look, I'm going to build a regular house, but I'm just going to put the front is going to look like a castle? Or would you make sure that the whole thing looked like a castle?
The whole thing, not just the front.
Yeah.
You got to go all the way, baby.
So you wouldn't do the front and then vinyl siding the rest of it?
No? Why not? What's the wrong with that?
And I'd do it as a board and batten.
You would do. So what you're saying is like you can have a castle, just make sure you go all the way.
Yeah.
Where
It bothers me when I see something that's just like on the front facade, and then it's a ranch on the other side. You know?
it's kind of like one of those Wild West towns
Yeah,
where
it's like, what the
there's
heck?
storefronts. There's
Yeah.
there's nothing
Yeah, there's
behind
nothing
it.
behind it.
There's just like, but I think people get. That's my problem. Is like I can't just stand just an aesthetic, and I know it's a me issue.
I'm with you, though. I think there's more people that are that way than otherwise.
Because if it just looks like it, but it's not like it isn't, I don't understand. I don't
Yeah.
to do that, it really does. I can't get it. I don't get it. Like it would be like building a house that looks like a barn, right? But only
On the front?
or the side. Like you just like, then you go around. It's like, wait a minute, is this a mid-century?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I guess my question is, how do you connect two styles then? If you have that, if you want a castle, but it's clearly not the 1500s, how do you marry that? How do you make the castle seem like it works now? What do you do?
I don't know that you do. If you were committed to a castle, that's like, you don't make it look like it's now.
You can't.
No.
I mean,
in my opinion.
I don't know if Chris, are you still looking for the castle?
There's two.
There's two?
Uh-huh.
We
There's
have two
one on
castles?
Chippewa, and I'm trying to find this one. If I can find it.
But are these castles, Chris, that go all out it's all castle?
Well,
He's finding it.
He's finding it. We're
I'm gonna-
doxing people right now.
He's not going to
I don't want to necessarily. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to. I'm just trying to find this house. There is a house. And it's on the south side of town. It's out in the county that took a regular 2-story and they cladded the entire house to look like a castle.
Is it shaped like a castle or just it's stone?
Trying to find a street view.
But I mean, they added turrets or they just.
So is the roof like a single gable?
I think what they did, you don't see the roof line because they think they built it up and it's got the, what do you call it?
So hold on a minute.
Granulations?
Yep.
Hey, Chris, hold on a minute. Jefferson in South Bend. There's a castle there.
Where?
It is west of Twickenham.
Are you talking about the Tudor?
Is that a Tudor?
That's not
It
castle.
looks like a castle to me.
That's a Tudor.
Well,
But it looks like it's got the pointy.
It's Tudor.
There were Tudor castles.
Yes, but this is not a castle.
It's really nice looking. I got to tell you, I'm not making fun of that house. It's beautiful. But when you look at it, to me, I think castle.
It's Tudor. I mean, it looks more like an English manor house to me.
Yeah.
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
I think Walt Disney World, the palace. Like I'm like, oh look, there's a Disney. I expect to see those little flags, the pointy flags at the top. Which I think they might even have. It's a beautiful house, and it's funny how that's my favorite street in the area because it really does.
Oh, there's so many beautiful architectural significant homes.
Yeah, and
They run the gamut.
They really do. Like even stuff that maybe isn't my cup of tea, but I look at it and I'm like, that's really still kind of cool. And Mishawaka has like a mini version of that along the river, like a mini kind of version of that. But on Jefferson, when you look at it, there is the Tudor, I guess. But it looks like a castle. But then you have like the ultra modern one, Chris. That's not next to the church. It's like super modern.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's clearly not modern. That has to have been there for 50 years.
Yeah, but it's a mid-century.
Yeah, very
It's a true mid-century.
What do you mean by that? You were like,
it was built in the period.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's like, no, there's imposter mid-century. It was actually built mid-century, I suppose. And then these are houses that when they built them, right, they were going for the look and they went all the way with the look.
Yes.
They had the land with it, and they just look sturdy. When you have, in my opinion, when you have a certain house and then you just make it look like it, there's something missing. And I can't quite put my... Actually, I'm dying to ask you, Joel, if you went to a house and it was a castle, but it was like a real castle, and you wanted to remodel or add on to that, what would you do? How do you even do that?
We'd figure it out.
You'd figure it out, but like you'd have to match a bunch of stuff, right? Like,
oh yeah,
that would be the hard part. I guess the hard part wouldn't be building it. The hard part would be material, right? Like,
oh yeah,
we're gonna have to match this stone. Do they do that? Can you match stone?
To a point. I mean, there are ways to do it. It's only money.
Right. Hey, next week, don't forget, we're doing the cost versus value, so you don't want to miss that show. Thanks for listening. This is Measure Twice.
Podcasts by Federated Media.